Subscribe because it's free.
The Vork Syndicate had made countless enemies across the galaxy. They had raided colonies, enslaved entire populations, and sold captives to the highest bidder. No species had ever managed to stop them, let alone retaliate. They were feared, powerful, untouchable. When they intercepted a human transport ship near the Outer Rim, it was just another routine capture. The adults were immediately categorized as labor stock, fit for the mines, the factories, or worse. The children, however, were taken separately, marked as high-value assets. Small, fragile, and easily controlled, perfect for specialized buyers. To the Vork, this was nothing unusual. They had done this 1,000 times before. They saw no difference between human children and the young of any other species. They assumed that humans, like everyone else, would negotiate, plead, offer money or territory in exchange. They did not know what they had just done. The children were locked away in a secure wing of Black Hole Station, the Syndicate's primary stronghold. It was a fortress, protected by powerful energy shields, automated turrets, and an armada of warships. No one had ever breached it. No one had even tried. The humans would never reach them. At least, that's what the Vork believed. What they failed to understand, what every species in the galaxy had already learned the hard way, was that humanity did not react like the others. They did not make threats. They did not hesitate. They did not bargain. The moment the distress beacon was received, the response was immediate. There was no diplomatic outreach, no back-channel negotiations, no offer for peace. The decision was made in an instant without debate. A single order was issued: find them, retrieve them, make an example. Within hours, human forces were already in motion. Every intelligence asset, every spy, every covert operative embedded in the underworld was activated. The Vork had hidden themselves well, but not well enough. Their supply chains were mapped, their smuggling routes tracked, their safe houses identified. One by one, every piece of their operation was exposed. A Vork raiding party attempting to return to their base never arrived. A shadow passed through the dark void of space, and they simply ceased to exist. A listening post, long thought secure, transmitted its last known coordinates before going silent. The Syndicate's outer colonies, previously considered unassailable, were found in flames, their defensive fleets obliterated before they had even known they were under attack. The humans were moving faster than the Vork had thought possible. Entire fleets disappearing. Communication lines going dark. The Syndicate's leadership started to notice, but they refused to believe it could be connected until the message came. No elaborate demands, no political maneuvering, just a single broadcast sent across every Vork frequency. You have taken what is ours. You have one chance to return them. If you refuse, you will not survive this. The voice was calm, cold, unshaken. The Vork scoffed. Empty threats. The humans were aggressive, sure, but this was different. They were demanding something impossible. The children had already been transported to Black Hole Station, deep within the Syndicate's most secure sector. Even if humanity knew their location, they couldn't do anything about it. The station was impenetrable. They sent their reply. Silence. Hours passed. Then days. Nothing. The Syndicate leadership expected retaliation, but not the kind they got. They expected an attack on their fleets, their outposts, something direct. Instead, something far worse began. The galaxy went dark. Black Hole Station relied on a vast network of hidden supply routes, bribed officials and black market traders. Every part of their empire functioned through careful secrecy and underworld alliances. And now, those alliances were gone. Humanity had not just declared war. They had erased the Syndicate's infrastructure from existence. Every Vork asset in neutral territory vanished overnight. Every corrupt trade partner they relied on cut ties immediately, out of fear. Suddenly, Black Hole Station found itself isolated. No reinforcements. No supply convoys. No way to communicate with the outside. Something had shifted. The Vork had expected retaliation, but this was different. This was systematic destruction. A sense of unease settled over the station. Guard patrolled more frequently. High-ranking officials grew tense, snapping at underlings. The once confident warlords held emergency meetings, arguing over what to do. Then, one by one, their outer defenses began to fail. The first sign that something was wrong came when Black Hole Station's long-range scanners stopped working. The technicians dismissed it as a minor glitch, maybe interference from a nearby nebula or a faulty relay. But then the encrypted communications grid failed. Messages sent to the Syndicate's remaining outposts were met with silence. Still, the warlords refused to panic. They had faced threats before. This was just another enemy trying to posture, another species making empty threats. The station was untouchable, but then the outermost sentry drones detected movement, something fast, something precise. A fleet was approaching, but the readings made no sense. It moved like nothing the Syndicate had ever seen before. No wasted motion, no hesitation. A formation so perfect that even AI control fleets couldn't replicate it. And then the first impact came. It wasn't a full-scale assault. Not yet. Instead, key sections of the station's defensive systems simply stopped working. Shield generators flickered and died, one after another. Automated turrets went offline. Their targeting arrays corrupted beyond repair. The main security grid, the one thing that ensured Black Hole Station's invulnerability, failed in a cascading sequence of catastrophic malfunctions. The warlords scrambled to respond. They sent their best engineers to fix the damage, but no matter what they did, the systems refused to reboot. It was already too late. Then the lights cut out. For the first time since its construction, Black Hole Station was silent. No power, no communications, no way to call for help. That's when the attack truly began. Not with a bombardment, not with an overwhelming assault, but with something worse. Precision. Vork personnel stationed at key defense posts vanished. No alarms were triggered, no bodies were found. One moment they were at their stations, and the next, they were gone. Entire security teams sent to investigate never returned. The warlords, now desperate, sealed themselves within the command chamber, surrounded by their most elite guards. The heavy blast doors were designed to withstand any assault, even a full-scale boarding action. And yet, they were afraid. They had underestimated the humans. That much was clear. They had assumed this would be another minor conflict, a trade of hostages, a negotiation. But they weren't dealing with politicians. They weren't dealing with diplomats. They were dealing with something else entirely. The first explosion rocked the station from the inside. Not an external attack, but sabotage. The oxygen supply for the lower decks was vented into space. Thousands of Orcs suffocated before they even knew what was happening. Then came the second strike. The emergency power systems, the ones meant to be untouchable, hidden behind layers of encryption and security, overloaded simultaneously, frying what little remained of Black Hole's defenses. By the time the first human boots touched the station's cold metal floors, Black Hole had already lost the battle. And yet, there were no demands for surrender, no warnings, no negotiation. Humanity wasn't here for a war. They were here for their children. The Vork command chamber was now in chaos. The warlords screamed at each other, desperate for a plan. Some argued for surrender. Others demanded they fight to the last breath. But deep down, they all knew the truth. It was over. Through the darkness, they heard it. Not the sound of blaring alarms or explosions, but something worse. The sound of approaching footsteps. Deliberate, unhurried, inevitable. Then a voice, calm, emotionless, echoed to the chamber speakers. "You took what was ours. Silence. Now we take everything from you." And then the doors began to open. The warlords had always believed in strength. The Syndicate thrived on power, on domination. They had ruled through fear, through brutality, through the certainty that no one could challenge them. But now, for the first time in their existence, they were the ones who were afraid. The command chamber's blast doors were 3 meters thick, reinforced with layered alloys designed to withstand direct bombardment. There was no way through them. Until now, the Vork watched in horror as something ripped the doors apart from the inside. The metal, once thought indestructible, bent like paper. The chamber security forces raised their weapons, but deep down, they knew it wouldn't matter. And then the first humans stepped through. They didn't wear the heavy armor of standard soldiers. No insignias. No identification. Just black combat gear, their visors reflecting the dim emergency lights. They moved with absolute precision, not like conquerors, but like executioners. There was no hesitation. No words. The first shots rang out, but it was already over. The elite guards, warriors who had defended Black Hole for years, didn't even last 5 seconds. The humans didn't miss. Every shot was placed with terrifying accuracy. One kill, one movement. No wasted energy. The warlords stumbled back, their confidence shattered. The one in charge, Vorik High Warlord Kether, fell to his knees, his claws trembling. He had led fleets across the galaxy. He had watched entire species burn. And yet, looking into the expressionless visors of these humans, he felt something he had never felt before. Doom, the tallest human, took a step forward. In their grip was a small Vorik communication tablet, its screen displaying a single set of coordinates. The warlord's blood ran cold. The humans knew. They knew where the children were. Kether opened his mouth to speak, to offer something, anything. But before he could form the words, the human raised their weapon and fired. A single clean shot. No theatrics. No anger. Just absolute finality. The warlord fell without a sound. The remaining Vorik in the chamber surrendered instantly, dropping their weapons. It didn't matter. They had already lost. The humans didn't even acknowledge them. They had no interest in prisoners, no need for negotiations. Their goal was singular: find the children, retrieve them, leave nothing behind. With brutal efficiency, the humans swept through Black Hole Station, moving toward the secure containment cells where the captives were kept. What they found inside was worse than they had imagined. The children were huddled together, terrified, weak from days of captivity. Some bore bruises. Others had been kept in containment fields so long they could barely move. One of the humans, larger than the others, their stance rigid, knelt beside the nearest child. Their voice, when they spoke, was calm, but edged with something deeper. "We're taking you home." The child, trembling, eyes filled with disbelief, nodded. That was when the final message was sent. Not to the Vorik, not to the remaining Syndicate forces, but to the entire galaxy. A simple transmission, played on every known frequency, translated into every known language. The children are safe. And then a second message, one that made every criminal empire in the galaxy tremble. Black Hole Station has been erased. The Syndicate no longer exists. If you take from humanity, you will not survive us. With the children secured, the humans set their final plan into motion, because Black Hole Station wouldn't just be defeated. It would be wiped from existence.